What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel. Today we're here for a new Madden 23 rebuild, which we can fairly confidently say is the hardest rebuild remaining in Madden 23 following the 2023 NFL Draft, and that is rebuilding the Arizona Cardinals. Before we even get to a roster preview, this is already one of the worst rosters in the game as it is right now, as it stands. Even right now, as you see, we have the 2023 draft class on the Arizona Cardinals, where they drafted Paris Johnson Jr., who was number 6 on my big board. You got Clayton Tune at quarterback. You got Wilson there, the wide receiver from Stanford. On the defensive side, you got Williams from Syracuse. BJ Ojulari, which I thought was an outstanding pick. I really did like Ojulari and Paris Johnson for them to just really, those guys are going to play sooner than later. I mean, even Williams could play sooner than later if he gets healthy. You got Owen Popo, the speedy linebacker out of Auburn. And even with that draft class, and I think another thing in this draft class is the fact that they were able to shift a lot of picks, a lot of moves to stock up on 2024 draft picks. But there were so many trades, I just tried to make sure I got the big ones here. Like, literally, I couldn't keep up. But they got 2 first-rounders. They got Houston's first-rounder, Houston's third-rounder. They have Tennessee's third-rounder. They have Philly's 5th-rounder, Vegas' 6th-rounder. Like, there is so much damage we're going to be able to do. 2 firsts, a second, 3 thirds. Like, that is going to go a long ways in helping rebuild this roster. But as is, this roster is up. Yeah, you can make the argument it is the hardest roster right now. This is going to be the hardest rebuild. On top of that, though, we're going to go with the condition that 2 players that are supposedly on the trade block, we're going to move on from them. DeAndre Hopkins on the offensive side of the ball, and on the defensive side of the ball, we got Budda Baker. Seems like both these players are at least trending in the direction that the right trade comes along. Arizona is committing to the full-on rebuild. They're going to move on from disgruntled players. Seems like Budda Baker's as good as gone. It's only inevitable, but DeAndre Hopkins, there's reports that maybe he's smoothing things over. No, we're going to make this rebuild. We're going to fully embrace the difficulty, and we're going to trade both of these players. I'm going to try to keep it as realistic as possible. I might be able to fetch like first-round picks, something like that. It's not going to be like that, but I'd say almost anything outside of a first-round pick, I'm going to take. And I'm going to prioritize draft picks just because it's very unlikely. You know, player-for-player trades rarely happen in real life. I'm just going to use this more so as like a trade meter of like what team really wants him. And see that the Bears are willing to give up Michael Thomas, who they somehow got from the Saints, a first-round pick and a third-round pick. I think this is where we start. We'll get something a little bit more reasonable. So we're going to send DeAndre Hopkins to the Chicago Bears for a 2nd and 2 third-round picks. A third-round pick next year's draft, a third-round pick in a future draft. That's pretty solid value, all things considered, for DeAndre Hopkins. I think, like, is that, I don't know. I probably should have it put up here what the Cardinals gave up to the Houston Texans to get DeAndre Hopkins, but like generally speaking, that's probably in line with what they got, given where, you know, DeAndre Hopkins is a little bit older than when the Cardinals landed him. And for Budda Baker, the most reasonable trade from a team that I think we could actually make a business deal with is the Vegas Raiders, who are offering us 2 seconds, plus Darren Waller is still on the roster, so I think I'm going to take that. Well, we'll see what kind of deal we can make with the Raiders. Raiders had no salary cap, so we now went to the second highest, but the Colts. The Colts look at upgrade at their safety room. I just really wanted to ship him to the AFC. You know, we already dealt DeAndre Hopkins within the NFC. Don't want that to come back bite us in the ass. So we send Budda Baker at a 2nd-round pick to get a 1st-round pick. So, I mean, if it's going to be in that ballpark, I pick in the 40s for the pick that is likely going to be in the 20s. A 3rd-round pick and a future 2nd-round pick. I think Budda Baker's going to get a little bit more value than DeAndre Hopkins, as he's one of the best players in his position and is still very much in his prime. So I'm very happy with this deal to add a 3rd first-round pick for this squad going into next year's draft. So the fallout from those trades is now this is what our team looks like. We now are going to try to go in with Rondale Moore and Hollywood Brown as our top 2 wide receivers. Our running back is aging and in decline. Probably just, you know, I should make the commitment. You know, we need to use both these guys, honestly, with our limited skill position players, but we should probably just let Trey McBride start at tight end and gamble on his upside. You know, we're going to need a new center for sure. Probably a new left tackle sooner than later. Humphries is only going to get worse. Like, if I'm just looking at who's going to be your long term on this, like you're hoping Johnson, McBride, Rondale Moore, Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown. Everywhere else, probably going to need to upgrade. Luckily, we have a lot of draft capital to do so. On the defensive side, we're going to kick BJ Ojulari. We'll make him left defensive end because we're rocking in the, they're going from a 3-4 to a 4-3. So we'll put him down here. I figure him and Majay Sanders are going to be the starters, I assume, like using some finesse guys potentially. Or we can go, Thomas has a better rating. So we'll go Thomas, but like as you can see, even that probably need to upgrade that spot. Gotta need to upgrade both defensive tackles in this corner room, unless like a Marco Wilson gets a dev trait, which he might. He's gonna be playing a lot of football. Maybe just Williams with that dev trait could be here long term. Even then, he started as a 73 overall. What is his ceiling going to be? Is he going to be just our corner 3 long term? So, a lot of questions for this team now more than ever. But we're in a rebuild. We're committing to the rebuild. We've got an insane amount of draft picks. We're gonna have a lot of salary cap. Let's rebuild. Truly, the hardest remaining team in Madden 23. Your 2023 Arizona Cardinals. Let's get into year 1. Nice little scenario to get. Sometimes uncommon. We got Kelvin Beachum wanting to work with Paris Johnson, our first round pick. So this is going to be something that's definitely going to help our team. We'll go pass block power. That's usually a tough transition from college to the pros. And hopefully, this is a nice little mentorship program we got going on here for the future of this offensive line and our future franchise tackle. Now that BJ Ojulari is our breakout player. So we're getting a lot of love for our rookie class. We'll get a nice +3 power and finesse move for the talented young edge rusher at LSU. A little bit of a breakout here, midway point. Cam Thomas in a losing effort. We're losing a lot, but he goes from normal to star, which when you're having this many normal dev players playing, you're then get at least 1 or 2 that trigger. And that's nice. We're 1-10, but anytime we take anything like that, that's pretty good. Even though I am annoyed because I've done a lot of scouting on trying to find another edge rusher on the other side of BJ Ojulari, and it looks like it might be worth investing in Cam Thomas if he is going to continue to develop like this. We'll spend all these upgrades here for a power rusher, which is looking pretty decent. So I'm a little bit annoyed, honestly, but it's fine. I'm fine. You're fine. We're all fine. I'll spend all those points later. We got to talk about some contract extensions. We're 1-10. We got 3 first-round picks. Who wants to stay a part of this rebuild? Who's committed? Who wants to sink their roots in? Now, we were hurting for special teamers. So I just signed both. I mean, you probably could just draft them, to be honest with you. I love just drafting, redrafting a special teams room because then you just got to have cheap rookie contracts. And that's kind of what we're looking for. I think Josh Jones could be something for us here. He's 76 overall at 26, 27, 28. Could cap out in the 80s, which could be... and he wants more money. F you, buddy! Isaiah Simmons, come on. You know you want to stay here. Thank you. Jonathan Gannon. They're working out well. We got Hollywood Brown at wide receiver. We're definitely not in the business of losing our few good players that we do have. So we'll offer him 60 years, $4 million. We're offering him 4-year, 60 mil. I will come back to the table with Josh Jones just because, I think he's solid. And when solid is still really good on your team, kind of need to keep that in the building. And then if you want, we were absolutely butt cheeks. Number 29 offense, number 32 defense, especially hiring a brand new defense. Let's be honest, I'll be honest with you. Jonathan Gannon sucks. If I'm a Cardinal fan, you're almost hoping it's another. Who's that guy? Didn't they have was it Vance Joseph? Or like Steve Wilkes, like a one and done. You might be hoping for what? We go 4-13, which we're probably pretty close to the first. We're third. Wow. We won 3 in a row. Tanking the first overall pick. So we have the 3rd overall pick. We also have the Texans pick, which is 5. We also have the Colts pick, which is almost top 10. So, we're going to have We're going to be able to do some damage, and maybe that works. I don't know. God damn it. 3-way tie for the first overall pick, and we're the course of the 13. Come on, if we're having a year this bad, you kind of want to at least hit that jackpot. Take a look at the stats. Do we have any silver lining? Let's see. Kyler Murray played. That's not bad. 40, we'll round that up. 4,400 yards, 30 touchdowns to 14 picks. He also chipped in with 450 yards on the ground, another 3 touchdowns. That's not brutal. 13 touchdowns. James Conner is what it is. We had 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns for Rondale Moore. That could be a dev trade for him. We might have a superstar wide receiver here. I was thinking it might have been Hollywood Brown. Rondale Moore could be our guy. Trey McBride, 975 and 6. Those are great numbers for a tight end. Hollywood Brown, 40 yards off 1,000, 7 touchdowns. Zach Ertz had 700 yards, utilizing both of our tight ends, which was nice. I do think I made Zach Ertz like our wide receiver 4. So maybe that's why he got on the field. On the defensive side, both Zaven Collins and Isaiah Simmons, massive tackle season. 169 for Collins, 145 for Simmons. 3 picks for Simmons. We had 8 sacks. Ojulari really not getting much. I don't know how Cam Thomas got that dev trade. He did have 10 TFLs, which isn't bad. But, I'm not going to say if a pass rusher is the best available player, even though he went up a dev trade, and even though we're limited players, we might have to make a move on someone with maybe a higher ceiling. 3 picks, Isaiah Simmons leading the team, which is fairly solid. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Dak Prescott. Okay, in the NFC, Chris Godwin gets Offensive Player of the Year. I just want to look even down here at the bottom. Rondale Moore, see what Cardinals actually pop up. Number 9, and then Offensive Player of the Year voting. Pretty cool. Aiden Hutchinson straight up wins Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie there goes to CJ Stroud. Defensive Rookie there goes to BJ Ojulari. That could be a dev trade. He's on a star. That could become a superstar, which would be very, very nice for us. Garrett Williams coming in at number 8. Quarterback goes to Dak Prescott. Does Kyler even make this? He doesn't even make the top 10. Yikes. Rondale Moore, number 5, and the wide receivers. We have nothing for the linemen, D lineman, nothing. Linebacker, maybe. We had a lot of tackles. No, they don't reward tackles anymore. What about best DB? Did we get Simmons? There we go. Isaiah Simmons at number 7. No Dicker the kicker. All right. So, it was a down year. We knew it was going to be a down year. There's a reason why. This is the worst team in Madden. We're going to do our damage in the offseason, through free agency, through the draft. San Francisco 49ers win the Super Bowl. Okay, interesting. Setting the pace here within the division. Take a look at our roster as we end the year. Kyler Murray keeps his superstar, which is huge. Rondale Moore and Trey McBride both gain a superstar dev, which is going to be definitely huge for this rebuild going forward, even just for 1 year's worth of development. Paris Johnson's hit dev comes out as a star. On the defensive side, we had the dev trade in season for Thomas. Garrett Williams was hidden dev. It's a star. Ojulari was star, but he got Defensive Rookie of the Year, so he gets bumped up to a superstar. Isaiah Simmons goes from star to superstar. Zaven Collins goes from star to superstar. So really, some of the key pieces, some of these guys that were the few and far between players that I think could be here from year 1 all the way to year 5, went up dev trade. So that is really, really nice. We're going to roll in the draft. I'm not going to eliminate edge rusher, but we could probably get by with another year of Thomas here. So we need a D tackle. Probably need to show some TLC to the corner room. Probably need to show a little TLC to the offensive line. Could bring in another wide receiver, especially if Rondale Moore is thriving in the slot. We need another guy on the outside, but this could have been a lot worse. Honestly, rolling into free agency, it's just we have so many draft picks. I don't want to step on the toes of our draft picks. I don't want to sign some big name guys and then we're sitting here in the first round, 3 first-round picks with we don't need to draft that because we signed an expensive free agent. I'm looking at it. It's kind of thinking safeties, Duggar, Chin. Jeremy Chin and Isaiah Simmons, but then it's all right, well, then that's going to limit the snaps of Zaven Collins, who just went up a dev trade. Or, Jalen Thompson's not anything special, but he's what, in the low 80s. He's right side. He's 25, 26. That's a starter for us right now. So it's all right, we can. The only interesting players, someone like AJ Terrell would be interesting, but doesn't have a whole lot of interest in actually joining our team. I guess given our salary cap, we'll at least we'll throw a neutral offer on, see where that puts us. We are top. That's really the only guy. And even then, I think corner's a strong spot here in the draft. So we might not have to. But even then, we don't need to. We can get one corner here if we get AJ Terrell and then still draft a corner if we need to. So let's see what happens. We're not going to overpay, but if he comes to us at a little bit of a discount, that could be pretty cool. And he did, an absolute discount. 4 years, under 80 mil for a 92 superstar corner. Easy, man. Easy. All right, so the draft. This is a big draft. I think we might have some moving around. I don't know if I'm going to stay put with all of our picks, but we got some options here. We have Leonard. I don't know if I want to go this early at corner, but Dylan Mays at tackle makes a lot of sense. Him and Paris Johnson, long term. That's an outstanding offensive line. But within the top, really, that's one of the 2 guys. We have the 3rd overall pick, I believe. Beyond that, though, I'm looking at positions. There's a wide receiver I really do like, the speedster here. You pretty much follow the blueprint nowadays for wide receivers. You want the safe bet, get the deep threat guy. It looks pretty good. We got B deep routing on Escobar. Runs a 4.24 at his pro day. I'm very interested in him as well. Adding him to the wide receiver room, just having all-out speed between him, Rondale Moore, Hollywood Brown. I think Dylan Mays looks outstanding on the offensive line. We can always, go. I don't know how. Again, do I want to use a lot of premier picks? Kind of retooling the offensive line. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. We do need 2 new defensive tackles. Vernon Goodrich maybe late first round, he could be in play. We also have a couple safe picks in this year's draft class. And you know what I say when I say safe picks is gigantic defensive tackles. Daryl Springs looks good. Larry Tillman looks really, really good. Usually if they're 350 pounds, they're probably going to be in the 70s right away to be able to come in and contribute. Now, I did say I scouted like some of the outside linebackers, some of the edges. That was before Thomas really broke out for us. I don't think with Thomas kind of emerging and obviously BJ Ojulari hitting the ground running as a rookie, we're going to be overly concerned at addressing that early. But it looks like a strong draft class for corners. Fairly here, top 5 talent, clearly the best in this year's draft class. But it's deep, right? We got some guys here. Pretty much everyone that has like a potential first round grade looks pretty nice. And then we got a couple height, weight, speed guys. Trey Britt, second, third round. Tyler Pratt comes out first round talent. Like, that's going to be a steal for us to try to be aggressive to go out and get. But all that being said is, we'll kind of see how it falls to us. We have a lot of picks, and I'm not afraid. It's not going to be all done overnight. I'm not going to be afraid to trade some of these picks. Maybe not necessarily the third pick, but some of these picks to get future picks as well. So first overall goes the quarterback. Second overall, the Jets select Jay Donald, which gives us the third overall selection. And I just feel because corner's so deep, Leonard Fairley, he looks good. It's hard to say that you want to pass on a guy that has double A's, double B's, looks incredibly well-rounded, but he's not necessarily an S-tier athlete. I'm a little bit put off by the 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. Yeah, you got speed, you got okay jumps, but I think when you need offensive linemen and you get an offensive tackle that's 4 A's across the board, elite speed, elite jumping, he's Lane Johnson. Anytime you get a chance to Lane Johnson, especially with Jonathan Gannon coming from Philadelphia, you get a Lane Johnson regen, you're going to take it. Third overall, Dylan Mays. We got Mays and Paris Johnson, 2 franchise tackles with Humphreys. Maybe kick him inside the guard, trade him, who knows. We got a great O-line here. All right, honestly, sitting here at pick 5, I mean, we got a pass rusher here that's a top 5 talent in Hitchens. Again, it's just, do we need that? Do we go with the corner right away? And do we have to get a corner? We're in an interesting spot. I mean, my mind's saying we go past, what does the stats look like on Hitchens? Anytime you got this kind of information, again, not like a ridiculous athlete. I'd be worried about the dev trade here. You might be top 5. You could be like a 77, 78 normal dev. Get burned with that. So I think kind of looking at it, I don't know, man. It's like one of those things where we can get a corner later. And we just got AJ Terrell. And is Thomas good enough not to... Damn, man, this is tough. Yeah, you just almost got to trust your gut here and go with the edge. If we didn't just sign AJ Terrell, I'd go corner. But the fact that we now have a superstar outside corner, if Hitchens does have a dev trait, if he is going to be a superstar, maybe we can utilize that a little bit. He does have at least a hit of dev. It's not like we're going to get a high player with a normal dev trait. But, man, that's a tough one. Oh, never mind. We're at pick 10 and Fairley's still on the board. All right. I guess I'm not going to trade any of my picks. Going to the second round. So right now, I'm kind of thinking, we need D tackles. I really want to double up on defensive tackles, get 2 in this year's draft class. And I think we could pair one of these 2 nose tackles with the highest rated tackle in this year's draft class, Vernon Goodrich. Out of Clemson, B power move, A tackle is a scheme fit for us. Pretty good athlete, pretty well rounded. See what we got. Oh, after 3 hidden dives, I guess we were kind of due to get a normal. Hopefully the rating's pretty good. All right, we got picks 3 and 5 in the 3rd round. So, I mean, kind of looking at what we got here in terms of value. Didn't we have a corner that had a first? Oh, he's gone. Yeah, we had that corner that was a second, 3rd rounder that had a first round. But I mean, we don't need a corner anymore. Fairly fell into our lap. So I'm thinking, I mean, what are those D tackles saying? Are we getting close to when they're going to go? I mean, we get one at 3 and 5. I feel like it doesn't matter. Let's grab the better of the 2. What do we got? Daryl Springs. Both these guys are scheme fits. We got double D's. The worst type of double D's. You know what I'm saying? I'm a double, I'm not really more of the other side. I'm more of a, what we got here though? At least this guy is a C and a B. I don't necessarily know if I want to reach, but I know it's a safe pick. It's going to be a safe pick route. And we need D tackle. So we'll take it, man. Hidden dev. Probably going to be like 71, 72. That's fine. That's honestly a starter for us. All right, let's see if we can look at bringing in a center here. We have Gregory Delos from Oregon. 2 A's and a B. Looks pretty good. Elite speed, jumping, change of direction. Whoa. All right, we got Lane Johnson regen in the first round, first overall pick. Let's get Jason Kelsey 2.0. What a draft class we're having. We're going to win the Super Bowl next year. If half these guys are going to pay it up for us. Look, another strong offensive line draft class in general. We have B and A, which is not the best you would like to see, but another very, very athletic player. First place in pretty much every testing. Usually those are hidden devs. Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not going to pat myself on the back too much. A lot of these guys are really sticking out like a sore thumb in obvious selections. I wanted a running back, and it's not a particularly, like, we're more so just grabbing for like BPA, and like between Dante Guy, power back, 6 feet, 229. Solid combine, top 5 in the 40-yard dash. We have Duke Cherry out of West Virginia, Mountaineer, A and a B as well. At least he has elite strength. I guess, I think he might be a guy that has a good rating. No dev trait, and we might have to just swing next year. And just running back will be a spot. I thought there was going to be a better running back pool in free agency because James Conner's at his ceiling. He's starting to regress a little bit. This would have been a nice little pick here for a hidden dev. All right, so take a look at our draft recap. We had a really good draft. I would expect, though, because we needed to have a really good draft. We had an insane amount of draft picks. Look at the... the first 3 guys were all top 5 talents that fell to us at picks 3, 5, and 10. Dylan Mays, 78, hidden dev. We're going to make him right now. He's going to be right tackle. He's our Lane Johnson. He's built like Lane Johnson, looks like Lane Johnson, hopefully plays like Lane Johnson. You get a top 5 true talent offensive lineman. I'm going to be hoping that there's going to be a gold dev trait there. We got Hitchens here at outside linebacker. He's actually going to shift down to defensive end and be competition right away with Cameron Thomas. So I think that is, right defensive end on the other side of BJ Ozolari. Best man for the job. And he actually goes up a rating point from 77 to a 78. Fairly was just BPA. He was a guy we even considered at pick 3. Was still there for some reason at pick 10. 79 with a hidden dev. Vernon Goodrich at D tackle, 75. Great rating, but he did, and was kind of the first worm burner of the picks because he had a normal dev. But 75, that's a good starting point. Tillman, the powerhouse nose tackle, 6'3", almost 360 pounds. Bringing in that 97 strength. He's going to start. Really, all these guys are starting. Delos, hidden dev center, built like Jason Kelsey. 6'1", 300 pounds, 73 agile. Maybe not the best scheme fit, but I'm going to take 75 speed, 86 acceleration, 90 impact block center. A guy that's pretty much just an overgrown fullback. We got Burton in the 3rd round. He was hidden dev as well. He might actually probably start sooner than later. Then we got Cherry, normal, a little bit of underwhelming pick. Thought he might have a dev trait, but 74. This was a day 3 pick, hitting on a 74 overall running back. He's likely going to be our running back 2. We got Delgado at tight end, 69. Buckley at corner, 72. Get a 66 safety, our worst pick of the bunch. And we round out with a 70 kicker, 72 punter. That was kind of easy. Both of them had 8 kick accuracy. But, that's an outstanding draft class right there. We maximized our picks, and I feel like I'd rather this haul than necessarily how we went into the draft being like, well, let's trade these picks for future first round picks. If one of these guys has a superstar, I think we made out pretty well given their base ratings. Just because we had so many players, kind of good news, bad news. Fairley, Hitchens, and Mays all have question marks still, so that means I guess their ceiling is superstar, if at best. But look at Tillman, our gigantic nose tackle. All right, maybe it's the unexpected guy. I will be very annoyed, though, if these 3 guys are star devs. I'll be very, very annoyed. Because we had so much coming in via the draft. Here's how our team looks. And kind of gives you an idea of where we still need to get a little bit better at. But the offensive line, very optimistic. We got Paris Johnson now at left tackle. Burton, hidden dev. Delos, hidden dev. Still got Hernandez and Mays, our first overall pick at pick number 3 in this draft. So that is a lot of youth completely retooling the offensive line. Hopefully we get at least one really nice dev trade out of all that. Brown and Rondale Moore and Trey McBride, those are nice key skill position players. I think we can kind of count on for the remainder of this rebuild. But we definitely need wide receiver 3 help. Unless Wilson can kind of break out here. Probably need a successor for James Conner. But we weren't going to complete this team all in one offseason. It's going to take probably year 2, year 3 until we have a roster we feel comfortable with going into a deep playoff run. On the defensive side, front 4, we got Tillman and Goodrich, the 2 rookies started D tackle with Hitchens at defensive end, along with BJ Ojulari, last year's reigning defending Defensive Rookie of the Year superstar, which is nice. We got Kaiser White, Zaven Collins, and Barnes as our linebacking core, but it's likely going to be mostly Collins and Isaiah Simmons as like our two main linebackers in the subs packages. Thompson's 85 star. We have AJ Terrell, our only and massive big free agency signing, to pair with Fairley's a top 10 pick, 79 hidden dev, and Garrett Williams, part of that 2023 draft class, kind of rounding things up. But I mean, this team here we're looking good, man. We hit on a lot of those draft picks. I'm excited to see what some of these dev traits are. And the midway point of year 2, Vernon Goodrich. So he was our highest pick that came with a normal dev. He just hit a dev trait in season. Why not? Rich get richer, star dev, plus 10,000 XP for a young player like him. I mean, that's gonna be big time. We actually got a victory here over Seattle. We're solid, above 500. It's a lot better than where we were last year. Kyler Murray here, nice game, kind of a little bit on the lower end of winning a Player of the Week award. But we've had some of the dev traits get unveiled because obviously a lot of our players have been playing, and we did well, fellas. We did very, very well. On the offensive side, Burton and Delos, both star dev, but Mays, our first pick, is a superstar. Linemen don't lose their dev trait, so we're going to have a superstar lineman really for the remainder of this rebuild, which is big time dub. That is truly Lane Johnson 2.0. On the defensive side of the ball, we know Tillman's dev, Goodrich earned star, but Hitchens is superstar, and Fairley is superstar. So all three of our first round picks had superstar dev traits. We know Tillman got a red one. Goodrich earned a dev trait already in season, and we got, some of these guys, who knows where their ceilings gonna be, but that is outstanding. That's, you're going for a tank. You tank to have a bunch of draft picks. You tank to move on Buda Baker, DeAndre Hopkins. This is why you do it, because you can replenish the talent like this. So we got Rondale Moore here. Let's give him a 4-year deal. Lock him in for the remainder of this rebuild. He needs a little bit more money, but I'm not going to let my superstar wide receiver walk. Again, I think we should get an upgrade over James Conner. Kaiser White's hitting that age where, I think we could probably do a little bit better there at linebacker. Zachary, again, he's just kind of moving out with the old, in with the new. We'll extend Rondale Moore and then carry the rest of the salary cap into the offseason. And at the end of year 2, well, 9-8's not the prettiest of record, but it is good enough to be second in the division and sneak into the playoffs. Final seed in the NFC, and we get to run the gauntlet. Wild card gets the Giants. Take a look at our stats this season. Kyler Murray almost top 5 in passing yards. 28 touchdowns, a little bit on the lower side, though. I'll be honest. 28 touchdowns, 15 picks. Probably want to see a little bit better than that. But the fact that, you throw in almost 400 yards, another 6 rushing touchdowns, it's not as bad when you look at it from that perspective. Solid year for James Conner. He's final here in Arizona. 4,000-yard receivers. Rondale Moore led the team, 1,200 yards, 4 touchdowns. We got 1,008 for Hollywood Brown, 1,007 for Zach Pascal. A bit of a role player there. Trey McBride going over 1,000 at the tight end spot. Defensively, Zaven Collins and Isaiah Simmons were our 2 leading tacklers. Isaiah Simmons also had 3 interceptions. Ramon Hitchens, our first-round pass rusher, 13 TFLs, 8.5 sacks. Ojulari with 7, Goodrich with 6, Thomas with 4.5. And on the defense, AJ Terrell leading the team with 4 interceptions, exactly what we need to see after making him our big free agency signing. Simmons with 3 picks. 3 picks for Leonard Fairley, our new superstar corner, who was also one of our first-round picks. Yearly awards. MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes. All right, I definitely thought Kyler would have a chance to at least make the MVP race. Guess not. Offensive Player of the Year, Cooper Kupp. Nick Bosa. Offensive Rookie, there goes to Blaine Kitchen. Defensive Rookie of the Year, wow. 3, 4, and 5, huh? Couldn't get the actual award. Went to like a middle linebacker. And Jalen Hurts is in Chicago. What? All right. So none of our guys got awards. I don't know off of the production if any of them are going to get dev trait increases or decreases. Could see a couple decreases. But, then we get fucking shit pumped. First round, lose 42. Again, we're a little bit ahead of schedule. We just had a draft class of key players that need to continue to develop. So, our team's only going to get better. We're trending in the right direction. But there's no easy way to say that we just got absolutely steamrolled in our first playoff game of this rebuild. And we had to make note, man, the Detroit Lions. That's been a popular team that people want to see me rebuild next. They have won the Super Bowl here in year 2. Take a look at our squad as it relates to dev traits. Well, we saw our devs for our rookie class. Burton and Delos, star dev. Mays, superstar dev. Everyone else maintained their dev traits this season. I thought there might have been a chance Kyler would have lost his superstar, but we'll count our blessings on that one. On the defensive side, Hitchens superstar, Tillman X Factor, Goodrich earned that star dev in season. Fairley's a superstar. We did lose a couple devs. Barnes, who just doesn't play, lost his star dev. Zaven Collins lost his superstar, but we gained an X Factor in Isaiah Simmons, and AJ Terrell kept his superstar. Usually when we sign like a big superstar X Factor corner, it's fairly likely that they're going to lose that dev trait just because it's so hard to maintain it at that corner spot. But happy to say that everything here is looking good as we roll into an offseason where you have plenty of money to make some investments to the squad. Maybe bring in another linebacker. Maybe look at bringing in, I don't know, another guard potentially to come in and compete with Will Hernandez. Maybe look at that third wide receiver spot so we're not relying on Zach Peskel. Free agency, we enter with, we needed a couple things. We needed a running back, but I don't know, man. I don't know if Aaron Jones, if he still had a dev trade, if he's still like an X Factor, I think I'd be interested in the fact that he's down to a star dev at that age. It's not really much there. Third wide receiver, are we going to bring back DeAndre Hopkins, especially after we traded him away? Probably not. And then the drop-off is monstrous. We could look at a guard, and we do have Landon Dixon, but there's no interest. We had some interest in Trey Smith, so we threw in a big bid. We're tied. It's going to be either us or the Bucks. He's superstar. I think that'd be a big get for us. We needed an outside linebacker, like an off-ball linebacker. Could be cool to play, pair BJ Ojulari with Azeez Ojulari, but we already got our pass rusher in, and there's just not much as it relates to like a high upside linebacker for our scheme. So I think we're just going to go out to Trey Smith and hopefully have another hellacious draft as Trey Smith signs on the dotted line. We're going to go in the draft looking for a running back, a wide receiver, and a linebacker. All right, we're now here at pick 19, and I think we might have to go to the running back. I just skipped through every single pick individually, hoping that a running back was going to fall to me, and he is top 5 in talent, Marquise Lynch. I already know, the faux pas of drafting a running back in the first round. But at pick 19, it's not like I'm using a top 10 pick. He has 3 A's. I'm gambling on the talent. I'm gambling on the scouting because the combine, not amazing, if I'm going to be honest. But top 5, you got to be talking at least like a 75 overall player. The other spots, we got wide receiver. I'm not really seeing any wide receiver that's like an absolute home run. I like the fact that this guy here is 6'3", 230 and ran a 4.4, has elite jumping, elite strength. But, he's going to be wide receiver 3. I don't think you get your third, even really 4th receiving outlet behind our tight end in the first round. We need a linebacker, and there's actually only really one linebacker I do like, which is Damian Moss, who, that might be a guy I'll trade up for if he's still there in the second round, because he's really the only off-ball linebacker that looks like he might be worth a damn in this year's draft class, which we need. But we will start this with a running back with our scouting. Marquise Lynch, top 5, true talent. Not a lot of straight line speed, but outstanding burst. Hopefully that's a great dev trade. But at 230 pounds, 95 acceleration, that's pretty damn good. We have so many draft picks this year. I still have another second. I think I got 2 more thirds. I have another 4th. So to go get the only linebacker left that I think is even remotely interesting in drafting, we're going to be aggressive. We're trading all of that to the New England Patriots to move up 12 spots in the second round, where we are going to be selecting Moss. The left outside linebacker here. Double A's with a B. First round, second round projection. Athletically speaking, elite acceleration, great speed. I'm here for it. Please be dev. Thank you very much. Day 1 starter. There's not a lot of value here, but the only other position we need is wide receiver. And the only guy that's really standing out, I literally just went through, spent 5 minutes checking the entire wide receiver class. What are we working with here? And it's really down to 2 players right now just because of the catching. We got A catching on Cormonte White, but you only get the elite acceleration. And then you look at it, you're like, well, the 40-yard dash is not particularly good. The 3-cone drill and the 20-yard shuttle are not particularly good. Those are spots that when you're kind of taking a shot in the dark and you can't just rely on getting a deep threat archetype type player, you just got to go out the knowledge Doug Peck also looks like there could be something there. B catching traffic, B release, 6'4", 221. But there's just not a lot of desirable traits there, athletically speaking. He'd be a guy that's 72 normal depth. But we got Jeremy Manning here. We are looking for a slot wide receiver. We can get by with Rondale Moore and Hollywood Brown on the outside. He is A catching, the F deep route running. Again, he's a slot wide receiver. Don't really need that. But he at least has some elite traits. Elite acceleration, elite agility, elite change of direction. I feel like this kind of has to be our guy. Let's go. So take a look at our draft recap. Not gonna lie, after our first 3 picks, really thinned up. Got a couple guys that I just knew were gonna be like below the 70 threshold, and we just simmed it out. But our first 3 picks, home runs, Marquise Lynch, scouted as a top 5 true talent in the class. He's 79, hit a dev out the get-go. Easy day 1 starter for us in the backfield for the rookie out of Missouri. Second round, we got Damian Moss, who we traded up for because I thought really the last guy looked like an easy pick. And he is hidden dev, and he's a scheme fit for us at left outside linebacker. He's going to be a day 1 starter as a rookie. And then we actually lucked out really, really nicely here with Manning, 77 hidden dev. Go always with the elite traits. Honestly, what separated a couple guys had the A, at least 1 A grade. But if you get the guys with elite, almost anything. If you get 2 or 3 elites in terms of physical attributes during the scouting process, they're probably going to be pretty damn good. I did not think he was going to be 77 good. I was thinking maybe 73, 72, 73. I will take 77. Let's go. What a draft class to pair with last year's outstanding all-timer type draft class. We got an interesting offer here for Cameron Thomas. Trade package. I wasn't really thinking about trading. I like him as a rotational depth, but this one's interesting. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are offering us Jaquan Brisker ultimately as part of the trade. I mean, you're always going to overpay for an edge rusher, especially when you're valuing a safety. But for us, who we use Isaiah Simmons at strong safety as our sub linebacker, you really want that third safety to be on the field. So I actually kind of like this deal because that means anytime that Isaiah Simmons is moving down the linebacker, Brisker's going to be able to play and contribute right away as safety. I think that offers a little bit more value than a third edge rusher. So we'll make that deal. I've been trying to cut out like the team preview every year. Like, I used to put that on my videos, and just, it doesn't need to be said, but like, I'm just sitting here being like, wow, the amount of damage that we've been able to do this quickly. I mean, it helps when you have an insane amount of draft capital, but like, this team has gone from the worst team to like, holy shit, we've drafted a lot of guys. We've had development on a lot of guys, and like we could go on a run here. We got Lynch as our new starting running back, Manning from this year's draft class as our new starting slot wide receiver. Bring it over Trey Smith in free agency. So, like, really, our free agency theme has been just land one big fish. Last year was A.J. Terrell. This year was Trey Smith, really completing the offense. Defense looks spectacular, especially with the addition of Jaquan Brisker now. So, like, our main linebackers are going to be Collins and Simmons as the sub linebacker. So that means Brisker can play strong safety. Want to get Moss on the field for sure, but I'm not going to really prioritize that. Until we especially see what that dev trick, because it was just a star dev, not gonna be a big deal. If it's superstar, maybe we'll start forcing some more touches his way. But I mean, this is definitely, we made the playoffs last year, we're 1 and done. Let's build off of that here in year 3, get a couple wins in the postseason. Gotta love random ass year 3 creeping its ugly head up here again, as our team should be stacked and dominating. We're 1 and 5. God, I love year 3. Pretty much a punt of a year. We got David Collins, offer him a 4-year deal. He's been solid for us. Jalen Thompson at safety again, probably, he hasn't really made a lot of big time plays, but as far as having a complete roster, he's probably going to be the best free safety if we didn't bring him back. So we'll do so. Jaquan Brisker, now it makes sense why he was available via trade. I don't really want to just, sign and let him walk. At least give him a somewhat competitive offer. That might be tough to do so. Maybe this is the lone year. We have Trey McBride, who's definitely developed nicely and broke out as a superstar tight end for us. Has been reliable, got 1,000 yards, so we'll come back to the table for him for sure. And that's about it, man. That's a cheap period. We're going to be able to roll over into offseason with a lot more money. In case there's a big-time name, maybe get another X factor so their team's not an almost 90 overall team and 1 and 5 at midseason. Maybe we need a couple more 95 X factors. Yeah, no real saving this year. Year 3 just shambolic. Our almost 90 overall team, 31st offense, 31st passing defense. It does, like, literally, you can't, it only makes you angry if you try to justify or explain why my team played like this. So, I mean, I guess James Conner was a big missing piece. Like, we're going to be losing dev traits this year. Like, fucking why? Why is it always year 3? There's going to be a bad year. It's always year 3. You never have a bad year 2. You never come out with a 90 team and stink the joint up year 4, year 5, maybe sometimes year 5. We've seen it. It's almost always there's something there. There's something in the code that's like, all right, this is your starting point, year 3. Here you go. You're too far ahead of schedule. You got too many dev traits, too many superstars. We're just gonna throw this wrench in to give you a little bit more challenge to finish up the 5 years. I don't even want to look at the awards. I don't give a shit, honestly. We need to just skip. I'm doing a disservice to even just kind of peeking at what we lost We lost Rondale Moore, superstar dev. Lynch and Manning both were stars. Didn't lose anything else. McBride kept his superstar, which is nice. On the defensive side, Goodrich up to superstar, which is good. We did lose a superstar in AJ Terrell. We're getting out of this one barely with a nick on the shoulder. I thought we were going to be like missing an arm, missing a couple limbs in terms of dev traits going into year 4. It could have been a lot worse. Only 2 dev traits down, and we gained a superstar on the defensive line. That's a win. You know what? When you're trying to be humble in free agency, we just get one guy here or there. And, we've been trying to get the big dogs. But nothing like just a ridiculous year 3 where your superstar team underperforms to make me go like, all right, this is how Madden wants to play ball. We can play ball. I got a lot of salary cap. I got a war chest. So we're going to go out and we're going to try to bring in Deebo Samuel and Kenneth Walker. Don't know if we're going to get them both. Feel optimistic that they want to buy in. Good luck stopping this. Madden did it to itself. I was here being like, you know what? I probably would have just got Kenneth Walker because our run game was pretty bad last year for some reason. Go with the rookie, go with the young kid. Didn't even get 1,000 yards. Now we throw in a 96 overall running back. Should be good. But the fact that we underperformed, the fact that I think Madden's kind of fucking on me a little bit, pardon my French, we'll go get an X-Factor wide receiver as well. And I do think the fact that Rondale Moore lost his superstar also makes this a little bit more of a move you want to pursue because you need that number 1 go-to ability-driven player on the offense about Kyler Murray. That's going to be Deebo. So the lone position I think we could try to add competition to is that nickel corner spot, right? We've had Garrett Williams, who's part of that first draft class. He's been solid, but we got AJ Terrell and Fairley. I feel like we can do a little bit better. And the fact that that was my scouting. I picked and focus scout the corner room because I knew that that's where I really wanted to look. We got 2 really nice players here. Derek Martin and Ricardo Bennett should be available like near the ass end of the first round. We're going to have a good pick anyways, but 2 potential top 5 talent players. Easy decision for us. Well, maybe not easy. Let's look. See if one stands out because we're going to have a good enough pick to get either one. You got to elite it. Okay, not bad. This guy here, maybe a little bit more on the outside. Double A's. Elite speed. Ooh. Okay, they both look pretty good. I think push comes to shove, like they're similar athletes. The catching doesn't matter. It is what it is, right? Catching's... So like at the end of the day, this guy here has C-man coverage, A-press, C-zone. This guy is C-man, B-press, B-zone. I think this guy's going to be a little bit more of the safer player. Don't have normal dev. He does have hidden dev. Top 5 talent in this year's draft class. Let's go. Look at the draft recap. I made the first 2 picks, simmed out the rest. Really weak draft class. Didn't need a safety. He was just the next BPA was Brendan Rodgers, not coach of, I don't know where he's coaching anymore, Leicester City. But normal dev safety, just added some decent depth here. But the big get here was Derek Martin, 76, hidden dev. I want to go look at the other corners just to make sure we made the right call there. At least the other top 5 corner, if I can remember his name. Let's see. So we got Martin there, 76, hidden dev. The next corner wasn't good. I mean, Goodrich was there, but we weren't really considering him. I was almost hoping that Bennett would fall. He's also 76, hidden dev. Please be star. Please be star so we could just carry on in year 4. Very happy with our life and decision. So it's only a star dev. So at worst, we've tied it. Happy with our pick. All right, we were 1-5 or something midway point last year because it's year 3. Now we're in year 4, which is just year 4. We're 6-1. So even more evidence that it doesn't matter. Year 3, just skip it from now on. We're going to do years 1, 2, 4, and 5 in rebuilds. $33 million. We got some guys that we want to keep for sure, but not a lot of guys. Really, it's Ojulari. We got Garrett Williams' replacement on the roster, even though he's only 23. He was drafted as a 20-year-old. And he is, the other guy, Okay, let's get Ojulari for sure. He's the big one. We got $10 million available. The other guy that we drafted at a corner in the first round, we unlocked his dev trade already and was a star. Spoilers. We just, I don't know. We don't have, I think it's going to be more beneficial to keep that salary cap and just have it roll over than bring back Garrett Williams. Sorry, bud. Oh, we almost choked it, though. We go 10-7 down the stretch. 6-1, finished 10-7. So they tried to fuck us over, but we're able to hang on here. Get a nice Week 18 victory. Player of the week. Who got it? Deebo and Isaiah Simmons. Deebo, 9 catches, 205 yards, 4 touchdowns. Isaiah Simmons, 10 tackles. I want to see the rest of the year. If Deebo put up that in 1 week, Maybe he was an ultimate game changer. We had the number 7 offense, 17th defense, which, yeah, it's not too shabby. Take a look at the numbers here. Kyler Murray, adding Debo. Getting big-time production of Kyler. 47 yards, 38 touchdowns. Baby, his best year so far. 6 rushing touchdowns. Lynch did his damn thing. 8 vultures. 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns for Kenneth Walker. Exactly what we paid for in free agency. Debo, 1,700 yards, 18 touchdowns. And that's as wide receiver 1. It's not like we moved him into the slot or anything crazy like that. Those are bona fide wide receiver 1 numbers. I'm glad we made those moves. I'm glad we were super aggressive. He averaged 100 yards a game. 1,008 for Hollywood Brown, 8 and 4 Rondale Moore, 7 and 4 for Trey McBride. On the defensive side, both, well, Zaven Collins and Isaiah Simmons getting over 100 tackles, 4 interceptions for Isaiah Simmons. We got 5 just sacks for some reason this year. Haven't got sacks like this in any year. So year 4 kind of put it all together. Didn't really do much on the defense. They're just coming all together. 15 and 15 for Ramon Hitches. 13 sacks, Ojulari. 11.5 for Goodrich. 7.5, 10 TFLs for our nose tackle, which is outrageous. Getting like Warren Sapp numbers. Isaiah Simmons there, 4 interceptions. 3 for Garrett Williams, who unfortunately is leaving after having his best season as a Cardinal. Patrick Holmes wins the MVP. Kyler Murray coming in number 4. Debo is Offensive Player of the Year. Love seeing that, man. Absolutely love. Kyler Murray's Quarterback of the Year. Kenneth Walker, runner-up for Running Back of the Year. Debo's Wide Receiver of the Year. We're getting a lot of award winners. Isaiah Simmons, Defensive Back of the Year. Okay. Now, year 4, we're starting to get pretty close. Can't really afford to be one and done. Kind of need to go on a little bit of a playoff run here. We beat the Carolina Panthers in the first round, and it's a high-scoring affair. But I'm going to guess it's Deebo Samuel went off. I think Deebo Samuel's just that guy. He is him. 38-35, and a matchup. Kyler Murray went off. 336, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Was it Deebo? And it's Deebo, man. That is the game-changer offense was missing. 10 catches, 140 yards, 3 touchdowns, getting that X factor at wide receiver, punching our ticket to the next round to take on the Detroit Lions, who, if you don't know, are the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. I won't be super pissed. I wouldn't gonna be super pissed. They're defending Super Bowl champions. That's gonna be a tough hurdle to clear. Wish we played a little bit better. 31-24. We gave up 14 points in the third. Kyler Murray did not play his best game at all. Defense didn't play their best game, and you can't give up 200-yard catchers, especially with the secondary that we have. All right, we're going year 5, Super Bowl or bust time. In closing of year 4, in terms of dev traits, Kyler Murray up to an X factor. That is a big development. That is the only upgrade. Downgrades, Trey McBride lost his superstar. But if that's the price to have Deebo Samuel play as he did, I think we'll make that trade-off every single time. On the defensive side, no dev traits, up or down. All right, that's a dub. For our last free agency, I mean, again, I don't know. We got to. It's one of those things where it's conflicted. On one hand, we drafted so well. I just want all the guys we drafted to be the guys that can lead us to a Super Bowl. And then you see when we spend on Debo and Kenneth Walker, just what it does to the team. It makes us play so much better. So rather than letting the corners we've drafted try to earn that spot, we got Devin Witherspoon here. He'll come in, be our third corner, 86 star dev. And hopefully that is the missing piece to have the defense play elite and match what we did on offense last season. Final draft, just showing you last pick. We're just going to try to get the best player available, and it looks like it might be a center. Might be a center. Oh, never mind. My worst pick of the rebuild. Who cares? It's year 5. And here's our draft recap. I mean, still 74, but I mean, again, none of these guys. Look at my special teams unit. This is a live look at my special teams unit. Year 5, here is our Arizona Cardinals rebuild team. And it pains me to have Kenneth Walker and Deebo Samuel here. I thought this might have been a rebuild where, like, yeah, okay, you might need the vision, the unsexy stud pick, like a Trey Smith, just kind of plug and play on the offensive line. But, I mean, I really do wish we were relying more so on the guys that we drafted, not guys we had to sign. But Madden put us in a predicament that, like, it just felt like it wasn't going to let us have our young players sign. We had to get established veterans like Deebo and Kenneth Walker. But we got Kyler up to an X factor. He's kind of salvaged his career. I think right now in real life, a lot of people are on the fence about whether or not Kyler Murray is going to be him or not. And he's played pretty damn well. Rondale Moore, Hollywood Brown have been solid for us. Trey McBride's been very good. Our offensive line, I mean, most of that has been what we've built and drafted. We got our Jason Kelsey and Delos, our Lane Johnson in Mays, Paris Johnson, almost up to a 90 overall. On the defense side, very happy when we did this. This was definitely a lot more of what we did drafting. Hitchens, Tillman, Goodrich, Ojulari, developed Collins, Simmons, Jalen Thompson, drafted fairly. Most of our key players are guys that, we only signed, 2 corners for the most part. We got to trade for like a depth safety who's kind of just a rotational player. But I mean, this has definitely been one of our better rebuilds in terms of team building. And we have just a, a nice amount of, like, when you draft as well as we already did and didn't have to pay Kyler Murray, we've been able to, have the luxurious expenses of adding a Kenneth Walker, a Deebo Samuel, an AJ Terrell. And hopefully that nice combination, that nice balance of roster building here in year 5 is going to get a team that's yet to pass the divisional round of the playoffs, a year 5 Super Bowl Cinderella run. We were like 6-1 at the midway point. We finished 9-8. This team cannot finish, limping into the playoffs. Did we win the division? We won the division once in this. Oh my God, man! Very much underperforming, and we're using like Philly playbooks, Philly offense, Philly defense. Usually that's an old reliable for me. Number 6 offense, number 13 defense, but we had the 32nd passing defense, 23rd rush defense. Yet we're a 91 overall unit. Yep. It's almost kind of like a let's get this over with. Kyler Murray played well, 38 touchdowns, 6 picks. Definitely like a complete redemption for him, especially down the stretch. Kenneth Walker, what an addition to the offense. Deebo Samuel, what an addition to the offense. Wish it didn't come to that. Wish I was talking about guys we drafted, but is what it is. 400 tacklers, 100 tacklers. We got 11.5 sacks. Ojulari, our sacks just completely lost what we had last year. Interceptions are up. 5 picks Brisker, 5 picks Isaiah Simmons, 4 for AJ Terrell, 3 from Zaven Collins. Yearly awards, I don't think we're going to have anything, to be honest with you. Joe Burrow. Kyler Murray, number 3 in the MVP race. I think quickly looking through for some Cardinals. Best quarterback does go to Kyler Murray. Best running back goes to Deebo Samuel. Best lineman goes to Trey Smith. DB goes to Quan Brisker, our backup. 1 and 2, our 2 starting safeties. Cool. Let's go to the career stats at this point, because I already know we're going to be 1 and done. I'm going to be very upset. What a perfect way to start my Saturday afternoon. 38,000 yards passing for Kyler Murray in this rebuild. In his career to this point, 263 touchdowns, 104 interceptions. To go along with 4,400 yards rushing and 53 rushing touchdowns. I mean, definitely salvaged, I think, everything for him. On the receiving standpoint, obviously Deebo did most of that without us. Hollywood Brown almost 8,700 yards receiving, 59 touchdowns, 6,200 yards, 40 touchdowns for Rondale Moore, 5,200 yards, 40 touchdowns for Trey McBride. I mean, for the most part, these guys were solid. They just, I don't know if they're ever going to be the guys that can get us over the hump, unfortunately. On the defensive side, Isaiah Simmons, 800 tackles for Zaven Collins, 700 tackles, AJ Terrell. Kind of split that between us and the Falcons. And for sacks, 44.5 for BJ Ojulari, 38 for Hitchens, 32 for Goodrich, 71 TFLs, 57. I mean, these guys were good. These guys were very productive for us. 22 picks Terrell, 20 for Isaiah Simmons, 11 for Zaven Collins. That's something that I don't know, man. Maybe it's like the wrong scheme, wrong playbook. It's been a minute since I've drafted like a really good corner. Like fairly came out the oven as a superstar corner. Like it's rare that I've had like a drafted corner, and then he's been here for 4 years, 4 out of the 5 years that we've rebuilt, that get like 20, 30 picks. I don't know. Maybe there's a playbook specific that like you're gonna get a lot of interceptions. You run this defense. I haven't found it yet. But let's go, man. Wild card round, first round. We have the Detroit Lions. They beat us last year. They won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Not an easy assignment. And we scrape by. We scrape by, barely win. And we match our personal best record of this rebuild, which is reaching the divisional round. In this match, it went to overtime. Wow. Overtime victory. Maybe that's what we needed. The kind of kick in the ass. With that, we earn the right to take on the number 1 seed in the divisional round. The 12-5 Commanders, who are pretty damn good. 8-8 overall is a really strong roster for the computer to build up, and it's not even close. 38-14 to the good guys. That's what we needed. We needed that big offensive output. 4 touchdowns for Kyler Murray. It's probably Deebo. Ooh, wasn't really. It was Rondale Moore. I like seeing that. I like seeing the guys that we brought in. So with that, we are now rolling into the NFC Championship here in year 4. We'll hop in, sit in the front row here. Really would like to see this battle of 9 and 8 teams meeting in the conference championship. Let's get a front row seat and maybe hop in if things get a little dicey. In Carolina, no offense to Panther fans, but like not the most intimidating stadium to go into. Let's get like a little bit of a defensive battle. Which team's going to crack first? Looks like it might be us. Carolina does get the first touchdown of the game. Our forced points come via a field goal. Not going to win the game like that. Why is our offense that's in the 90s not doing a fucking thing? This is like the first game. Barely any points. Wow, man. Kyler Murray sucks. It needs to be said, man. Kyler Murray's just not the type of quarterback that's going to be really good in Madden. This is, and you know, here I am roasting Kyler Murray. Our defense gave up 35 points. It's brutal. Fucking brutal, dude. All right. We tried. I actually don't think I've ever won the Super Bowl with Arizona. Kyler Murray sucks in Madden. So, like, look, that's a shit game. 57% completion percentage. That's bullshit. My defense was bullshit. Jonathan Gannon fucking sucks. That's the end of this Cardinals rebuild. Hope you guys did enjoy. I mean, I would say this. The excitement of this rebuild is what we know when we traded Buda Baker, we traded DeAndre Hopkins, we had all of those picks, right? And what the Falcons, or what the Cardinals have done in real life, acquiring all those picks. And we dominated on that aspect. We drafted 3 superstars, an X Factor. Like, we kicked ass in that front. Just when Kyler Murray and company had to go out and earn it. Couldn't earn it, man. They don't got that dog in them. So that being said, we got plenty of other teams that I've got the recommendations on who should be the next rebuild. Like from the fallout from the 2023 draft, I've seen Seattle, I've seen Detroit, I've seen Pittsburgh. Like those are probably the bubble, the next 3 teams that I'm thinking about rebuilding. Let me know in the comment section below. Out of those 3 teams, what you want to see next. I will get to them at some point. But maybe you guys can help me prioritize what we do. But that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you're having a great Saturday. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying like, subscribe, all that cheesy YouTuber stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Love you. Have a good one.